All right, so we're going to talk about pearls to supercharge your internet marketing, but keep in mind that this is for missionaries as well. So whatever business or whatever you're doing, I'm going to give you really pearls to help you promote and get the word out there. So if you're an evangelist, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So this applies to everything beyond just ophthalmology. So a little bit of my background, I've been in internet marketing for about 20 years. I am an active duty physician in the Navy, so this is my disclaimer. So anything I say today reflects my own opinion, not of the Department of Defense, U.S. Navy, or the government. But when I was at the University of Iowa, I was the resident that created iRounds, which became a worldwide sensation. So when I did like missions around the world with the Navy, like in Jamaica, the Jamaican residents were like, hey, you're the iRounds guy. So what's funny is that when I was a first-year resident at Iowa, the other applicants were coming up to Keith Carter, the chairman, and were like, can I meet Dr. Doan or Andy Doan because I know him from the internet. That is when the light bulb clicked in 2001 for me. If I can be all over the internet, I can be known, and I can actually promote or share anything I want with anybody. So there are some affiliate marketing links down here, and it doesn't cost you anything to click on those if you want to. So why does internet marketing matter? 77% of your patients search online before booking an appointment. So I did a survey on Facebook, and I asked people, do you have a surgeon, you decide to do the surgery, do you Google search your surgeons afterwards? Over 50% said yes. You know why? Have you ever purchased anything on Amazon or online? And you're like, okay, did I make the right choice? Did I buy the right car? So you go back and you research everything because you didn't have time to ask all the right questions at the dealership, or you were too busy online and you hit bought or buy before you did the full research. Well, how is your patient who only met you for 5 minutes going to decide that you are the person to do intraocular surgery on them? They're going to go home and search if there's any bad reviews, any bad comments, to whether they should keep this appointment or they should cancel. That's why it matters. Trust me, no matter how long you've been in practice, patients are searching you because you're doing the same thing when you're searching for restaurants, buying stuff online, going to Amazon. Your digital footprint is your reputation. This is the word of mouth marketing, but on crack, because it's on the internet. People from all over the world can actually learn about what you do on a daily basis. So your goal is to build trust, viability, and patient flow. So the best practice is, I'm going to talk about all these things. We talk about different platforms for you, what to post. I advocate using ChatGPT. Pay for the AI version of the ChatGPT. So I know a lot of physicians are concerned about using AI. And I know people were concerned that know me about using AI. But when I started using AI and actually replying back in emails with just AI-generated content, but me feeding the information, they were very impressed with the comments and had no idea that AI even said that or generated it. But when I shared with them that AI did it, and it did it in 5 seconds because I programmed AI to know my thoughts, to know the references, to know the research, to know the thought process, how I wrote, and became a ghostwriter for me. That is what AI does for you. So AI is not going to replace human beings. But human beings who don't use AI will be replaced by human beings who do use AI and will outpace you. And other practices that do that will outpace you as well. So we're talking about testimonials, we'll talk about before and after results, also behind the scenes stories, and also how to post. Okay, so here's an example. So iWiki, so when I was with the American Academy of Ophthalmology, I was the president of the Young Ophthalmology Group, and that's when we created iWiki. So I was one of the key founders of that. The reason why I did that was that because at that time, the AAO locked everything behind a firewall. You have to basically log in to get information. I wanted good, free information to be available to anybody around the world, selfishly for myself as well, so that way when I'm somewhere in, let's say, Okinawa, Japan, I have access to AAO content. But you can take this AAO content and feed it to ChatGPT and say, hey, create me a post. And here it is. So I'm going to copy the information. And I said, don't use emojis. And then it rewrites that AA post in 10 seconds. Now, I'm not saying clip and paste and use this. I'm telling you to proofread it. Use your MD, your PhD, your advanced graduate degrees to proofread this, and it even generated images. But this one's a wonky eye. See that? The lady has a really wonky eye because that's an AI-generated content. So I said, create image without the bad eye. And bam, a new copyright-free image for you to use on your website or blog. So this is what it would look like, posted on Facebook. And I made a few changes only. And it took me probably less than a minute. That is how you generate content for your website, for your social media posts, for your YouTube channels, and it will save you so much time. And it doesn't have to be you. It could be somebody like a technician or somebody in your office or your team, and then you're just proofreading the content for accuracy and reliability. How about for evangelism? I have a Facebook page of about 700,000 fans. It's called We Love Jesus. One of these images is actually AI generated, and that's the one with Jesus, kind of like, not Jesus, but the man kind of crying out to the Lord. But by using Facebook and posting consistently for your practice, your articles, you can actually generate followers. But the most important thing you have to do now is Facebook changed their algorithm so that you have to pay to play. Meaning that you have to pay to get verified. That little check mark there. If you're not verified, look what happens. Very low engagement. I got about a dozen. I pay to get verified, which is like $11.99 a month, and bam, look at the engagement. I did nothing different, and it went up. So that is how you grow your Facebook presence. Now, what's cool about Facebook is that all your patients are also going to find you on Facebook. I mean, your business profile. And they're going to share how great your practice is. But the way Facebook works is that they're connected to all their friends in that local area. So all the people who are connected to that individual will actually find your posts and your Facebook page. Use Google Ads. Anybody run their own Google Ads? It's really easy. Just go to ads.google.com. And what you do, go to this website, sign up for an ad account, and I'll give you an example. So here we have different terms: cataract surgery, eye surgery, multifocal lenses. It'll tell you the average monthly searches. So for eye surgery, there's about 10,000 to 100,000 searches in the United States. But you can also break it down to different areas too, like North Carolina or Denver, Colorado, down to the zip code, down to a 5-mile radius of your practice if you wanted to. And then it'll tell you basically once you have an account, it'll tell you the 3-month change, the year-to-year change, how competitive the term is. So eye surgery terms are actually low, but if you choose multifocal, you're gonna pay a lot more. So for example, the average cost for a kind of like a eye surgery here is at the top page is about $133, and then it's about $134. So the way it works is that it's kind of like a bidding system. You have other practices or other businesses bidding for that term, like let's say multifocal lenses, okay? So you can actually expect to pay up to $9.34 per click. So that's very expensive. So you got to pick keywords that are less competitive and use that for your practice. And maybe pick a few that are more expensive and then have a budget for only those expensive keywords and limit how many clicks can happen. Because you can see that basically it would take a lot of patients signing up for multifocal lenses to pay for 100 clicks, let's say, okay? So you have to calculate your return on investment on those terms. You can also use ChatGPT for Google Ads. You can actually, because see, ChatGPT is like a collective understanding of many users who use the program. You can ask ChatGPT, what are the key words I should use? Describe your practice. I am a comprehensive ophthalmologist, so it also does glaucoma stuff. I also like to do multifocal lenses and cataract surgery, and I do lasers and so forth, and describe what lasers, and then ask ChatGPT to generate the top 10 keywords that are trending on the internet at this point in time, and it'll collect that information for you. But what's cool about ChatGPT is that they programmed it to have a research function. So you actually hit the research function, and it will spend literally 10 to 20 minutes researching all the data that's available on the internet to come up with a recommendation for you. And then run A/B tests. So A/B tests, I do that a lot for my YouTube thumbnails, for example. A thumbnail is just like a cover or a book cover for the video. So I'll run like, A, or thumbnail A, thumbnail B, thumbnail C, and then you let the basically algorithm decide which ones are the best on return on investment. So meaning that which ones get the most clicks, and that's the final ad or the final article or the final photo or image that you would use. If you don't have a newsletter, that's something you can start. That's a more time intensive, but using AI, I just showed you how to generate articles and even newsletter content really super fast. So you can actually take your old content that you have already. So let's say you have a bunch of research articles that you've written. You can actually upload the PDF of your research articles to ChatGPT, and it will curate that article at a 5th grade level, 8th grade level, 10th grade level to a patient, an average patient level. And you can use that to generate a newsletter that you can send out to your patients. And then keep the emails, limited to maybe 1 to 2 emails a month, because we all get too many emails, and it just doesn't, work very well when we flood people with emails. So draft a newsletter content in your voice. You can actually teach it. So you can take your old writings and say, this is my voice. And in ChatGPT now, you can actually create a project, like a little project folder. And you can actually tell it the rules of engagement and how you want it to generate the content. So take your old writings and upload your writing to ChatGPT and say, I want all content to sound like this. So it'll be your writing, your voice. Just a ghostwriter that's automated, and you'll have to pay $20 a month. Okay, I'm going to show you what this looks like here in ChatGPT, how we generate this. So I'm asking it to write in a Reader's Digest format on a 1,000-word article. And again, remember, remember to proofread it, right? Because there's something called hallucinations of AI. AI will hallucinate and make up stuff like references and ideas. So that's what your expertise comes in. So keep this in mind that not everybody can do this. If you don't have the knowledge of an ophthalmic surgeon, you couldn't generate a reliable document, right? It's like giving a 6th grader this AI. They wouldn't know what to feed it. But because you have the knowledge, you can feed it and then also correct it and also change it and make it accurate. Okay, so YouTube for trust and SEO. So I'm going to talk about YouTube in my next talk. So I'm just going to say why YouTube's important. So YouTube was purchased by Google for billions of dollars. So Google's the #1 search engine in the world. YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. Because when people need to know something, like how to fix a car or unclog a sink, they go to Google or they go to YouTube. So that's where they go with questions about, should I put in this multifocal lens? Or should I, do this with my eye? Or what kind of eye surgeries are available for me? Or what kind of eye treatments are available for dry eye? They will go to YouTube, and if you're on YouTube, it now builds rapport with your patients because you're dealing with a generation who grew up admiring other YouTubers. So if you're a doctor who's a YouTuber and you're on there, you actually get some credibility on the street now because of the younger patients all know YouTubers. And then your content ideas. You can do FAQs, you can do procedure walkthroughs, you can do doctor Q&A. So for me, when I get, who gets tired about talking about lid scrubs and dry eye treatment? Or who likes that? Who likes doing that? I have a QR code. I can actually say, here, bam, you have dry eye, explain real quick what I'm gonna do, and then here's a video that you can go to and you give it to them. Now, you kill two birds with one stone, because if you're monetized on YouTube like me, you're making money on the ads that are flowing in front of your patients when they're watching the YouTube video on how to do eye scrubs. You're increasing engagement because YouTube likes metrics. So your patient, because they know you, will watch the entire video, and that increases now engagement, and YouTube will send other people to watch your dry eye video. Okay? You see where I'm going with this? And then the patient who gets the solution they're looking for will pass that video to everyone they know, right? Their sister, their cousins. You go to Thanksgiving and they're like, oh, you got to watch my doctor's video. He solved my dry eye. And they send the link and bam, that's 3 benefits already at minimum of why you should have YouTube. And it also saves you time that way, because you don't have that much time in clinic to explain everything ad nauseum. You're like, okay, I explain more on cataract surgery and your lens choices. Here's the video. And you have a 10-minute video on that. So ChatGPT for YouTube. Use it for scripts and outlines. And this is amazing. I've been doing this for about a year. So I interview different people on my YouTube channel. And I use AI. I feed it their bio. I feed it their resume, their research papers. And I say, generate 10 questions. Start with a hook. Start with a big take-home bang. And every single time, I've interviewed dozens and dozens and dozens of people now. These world experts were like, wow, these are amazing questions. You know me so well. And I'm like, yeah, this is great, because AI knew that person and gave the right questions. So use it to write your outlines and scripts. Don't be afraid. And I'm actually working on a new book now, and I just did a test to see if the book is viable. I wrote a 350-page book in 2 days using AI. I fed it everything I knew about the topic. I actually generated the outline, fed it the topic, and then I had about a dozen people read the book to edit the book, like human beings, and they're all giving me amazing feedback, they can't wait for the final book. So use it and just play with it. Okay, so online reviews. This is the bane of our existence, right? The unhappy patient with the bad LASIK or dry eye experience will go online and post on every single site. The key for you is you got to build your online reputation. This is so important. But don't be afraid of a few bad reviews. Remember back in med school, the key to pollution is dilution. So a Stanford business study showed that a few bad reviews is actually good. It makes you look real and genuine. What you want to do is flood your system with amazing reviews, okay? But how do you do that? Well, don't worry. If the patients are not happy in your practice, they would have left long ago, right? They would have went to another practice. I can guarantee you 99.99999% of patients in your practice love you. That is why they're there. Except you don't ask them to review you, so they stay silent, because that's just extra work for them. So it's only the 0.0000001% who's angry, who left your practice already, but as they leave your practice, they leave a scathing review on Google. Correct? So this is how you do it. You put up a plaque like this from Digifil, and this is, if you use my name here, Dr. Doan 2, you get a 15% off this plaque. It's not that expensive. So I put this up, and I'm in the Navy. I'm not supposed to collect reviews for myself, but I did anyway. And so I put up this plaque as a show. Within a month, I generated 26 reviews or so. This is what it looks like. So you claim your profile on Google Business, and then this is all 5 stars because all my patients love me, so I haven't had a few bad patients yet. So put a bad review in for me, please, if you click on this link, because I need a few bad reviews. This looks like I faked it, which I did. So anyway, But this is nice because this is an NFC code, so you just tap your phone. There's a chip in there. You just tap your phone to it, or they tap their phone to it, and it sends them right to your Google profile to put a Google review. It's a beautiful solution, and it's simple. And you can even add it, you can even put this in a QR code, so when you have like a post-op visit on your cataract patients, and you know most of your cataract patients are super happy, or your surgical, post-ops, as they're waiting for their dilation, just have them like, before they get too dilated and they can't see, they basically click on that link or use the QR code, and they can sit there and just fill out a Google review. It's that simple. So in summary, focus on one element discussed this month. I know this is overwhelming. I talked about a lot of stuff. Just pick one thing, and start doing it. And then next month, pick another element. That's how I got good at this stuff. I have 20 years of experience. I just pick one element at a time, and I start building skills, kind of like what we do in residency and surgical training and medical training. We just pick one thing at a time, get really good at it or proficient, and we build on that. Use ChatGPT, and then you don't need to do it all, just be consistent. Any questions?
Okay, I have a question. So, have you tried Grok 3.0?
No, I have to look at that. What is that?
I've been using it. So it's an Elon Musk AI. My brother told me about it. He's an oncologist. And I looked at it because my frustration in using ChatGPT has been, and you know this already, is I'm a conservative individual. And so I'll go in and start asking ChatGPT some political issue or some, that type of issue. And when I do so, it will give me a very woke reply, which I'm not. And I haven't trained it like you have in advance of my question to know, that I'm a conservative individual necessarily, or it forgets that or something. And so it gives me a reply that I sit there and go, oh, I don't think so. And so Grok, on the other hand, I've been using it for 3 weeks now is all. And I really like it. It's more in-depth. It gives, I feel, without me training it, a more balanced reply, if you will, on things. And Grok 4.0 is coming out, and it's very expensive. I wouldn't use it, but you might want to look at it, or other people in the audience. 3.0 for me, the app works great. And so that was the first thing. The second thing, did you tell anybody in here that you work on our COS board, and you should tell them what you do? It's amazing.
I'm on the COS board. I've been recruited here to help with the social media and with the internet and the YouTube stuff. And so I help grow the internet presence. So our Facebook page, for example, went from like less than about 100 or maybe just a little bit over 100 to now over 1,000, followers. YouTube now is growing, steadily. I haven't checked the numbers on YouTube, but it's in the almost 10,000 or above. And there was only a few hundred, subscribers on YouTube before.
So has anybody else tried Grok 3.0? What do you think? Might want to take your...
Oh, I wasn't certain. Yeah, I'm just a AI novice and trying to force myself to use it, and it's okay, except it's not really working on my app right now. So the last few days, it's like can't connect. But Mike, I had a similar question in that there are different AI programs and they're changing all the time, and so some may be better in one area. So I would say stay flexible as more agents come online. So it can get pretty confusing quickly, but yeah, I mean, look at the content and see if you like what it returns. I used ChatGPT to buy a refrigerator, and I said, like, make a chart for me of refrigerators with these qualities, and give me the model numbers and the prices, and it, boom, pulled it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then when I clicked on the model number into like a Google search, it gave the wrong qualities of the fridge. So like, it's not 100% accurate. So just beware.
Yeah, you have to double check everything. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, just a side story on ChatGPT being woke. So I make these images for my evangelistic, Facebook endeavors. And so I wanted one where Jesus is creating the universe. So it was arguing with me that Jesus is a man and did not create the universe, right? But you can program it. So I discuss it, but you can trick it to say, okay, so create a mystic being, creating the universe. And it did. And I said, okay, replace the mystic being with Jesus. And it did. So you can actually work around it. And so that's where it takes human intelligence to outsmart the AI to get you the product you want.